Sami Zayn was on the verge of delivering a statement victory, a win that could have solidified his momentum and sent a clear message to the bloodline that their intimidation tactics wouldn't be enough to break him. The energy inside the arena had been building all night as Zayn went toe-to-toe with the Bulgarian brute Rusev in a brutal, high-stakes singles match that showcased both men's resilience, skill, and hunger for dominance. From the opening bell, it was a war of attrition, Rusev using his raw power to bully Zayn into the corners, driving his massive shoulder into Zayn's ribs and keeping the pace slow and punishing, while Zayn countered with his trademark speed, agility, and unrelenting determination, slipping out of holds, striking with precision, and rallying the crowd behind him at every turn. Both men traded heavy shots and momentum swings, with near falls that had the audience gasping, but it was clear that Zayn had weathered the worst and was closing in on victory. After countering a devastating Machka kick, Zayn summoned one final surge of energy, exploding into a perfectly executed exploder suplex that rocked Rusev and set the stage for his finishing blow. The crowd roared as Zayn backed into the corner, pounding the turnbuckle and lining up the Helluva kick that would surely seal the deal. But just as the moment of triumph seemed certain, disaster struck. Tandaloa and J.C. Mateo, the newest enforcers of the Bloodline's ever-expanding empire, appeared out of nowhere, yanking Zayn from the ring with merciless force. The attack was fast, coordinated, and devastating, a calculated act meant not only to stop Zayn from winning but to send a message that anyone who stands against the Bloodline will be dismantled piece by piece. The referee, with no other option, called for the bell, granting Zayn a hollow victory via disqualification. But the bell didn't stop the violence. Mateo and Loa pinned Zayn's arms, holding him in place like prey, while the arena shook with boos as Tanga Tonga charged across the floor and delivered a thunderous big boot that nearly took Zayn's head off, dropping him to the mat in a heap. Standing at ringside, Solo Sikoa watched with an unsettling grin, his laughter cutting through the chaos like a knife, a clear signal that this assault was as much about humiliation as it was about physical damage. Officials stormed the scene, throwing themselves between Zayn and his attackers, but by the time they had cleared the ring, the damage had been done, physically, emotionally, and strategically. Yet the night's carnage was far from over. While the Bloodline's assault was still being diffused, another eruption of violence detonated on the opposite side of the ring as Sheamus blindsided Rusev with a vicious knee strike that caught the Bulgarian brute flush, sending him stumbling. What followed was pure, unrestrained chaos as Rusev roared back, and the two men began trading fists with such intensity that they tore straight through ringside security. Their fight spilled into the crowd, crashing through barriers and scattering fans as they battered each other relentlessly, fueled by rage and pride. Every attempt by officials to separate them was met with defiance, and the brawl raged down the arena steps and into the backstage area, leaving behind overturned equipment, shattered barricades, and a trail of stunned onlookers. By the time the show's cameras cut away, neither rivalry had been resolved. In fact, both had escalated into dangerous territory. Sami Zayn now finds himself staring down not just the Bloodline, but a growing list of ruthless allies willing to do anything to break him, while Sheamus has reignited a war with Rusev that could spiral into an uncontrollable vendetta. The question now is not just who will come out on top, but who will survive the storm that has just been unleashed. Because after a night like this, it's clear that in WWE right now, the line between victory and destruction has never been thinner. Sami Zayn came within inches of securing a decisive victory, the kind of moment that could have been the turning point in his ongoing battle against the shadowy influence of the Bloodline, but the night took a sharp and brutal turn when the faction's newly aligned allies decided to make their presence felt in the most disruptive way possible. What had been a grueling, high-intensity singles clash between Zayn and the Bulgarian brute Rusev, two men known for their stamina, power, and ability to punish opponents, suddenly descended into complete chaos. The bout had been evenly matched, with each man trading bone-rattling strikes and high-impact moves, but as the closing moments approached, Zayn appeared to have the edge. After enduring Rusev's punishing offense, Zayn countered with a perfectly executed exploder suplex that sent the crowd to their feet, setting up for the Helluva kick that would almost certainly seal the win. Yet before his boot could even make contact, Tandaloa and JC Mateo stormed the scene, yanking Zayn violently out of the ring and robbing him of his chance at a clean victory. The referee had no choice but to signal for the bell, awarding Zayn the win by disqualification, but that ruling meant little in the face of what followed. With Zayn trapped, Mateo and Loa restrained him as Tanga Tonga charged in with a devastating big boot that nearly took his head off, sending shockwaves through the arena while Solo Sikoa stood at ringside, laughing coldly at the destruction. WWE officials scrambled to break things up, but the damage had already been inflicted, both physically on Zayn and psychologically as the Bloodline's grip seemed to tighten. Meanwhile, as chaos raged in one corner of the arena, an entirely separate eruption of violence broke out when Sheamus blindsided Rusev with a vicious knee strike that sent the Bulgarian Brute reeling. Their fight instantly spilled into the crowd, where the two tore through barriers, battered security railings, and ignored every order from officials who were desperately trying to contain the carnage. The brawl raged all the way backstage, leaving stunned fans wondering what had just unfolded before their eyes. The night ended with more questions than answers. Can Sami Zayn possibly find a way to overcome the Bloodline's growing army of enforcers? And has Sheamus just painted an even bigger target on his own back by reigniting his war with Rusev? One thing is certain, both rivalries have been taken to a level where the stakes are no longer just about wins and losses, but about survival itself.